Hello and welcome. Today we're diving into something a bit different from Ali Hazelwood. You know her for those amazing smart romances like The Love Hypothesis, Love on the Brain, always that mix of brainy concepts and pure escape.
Absolutely. But this time, we're way outside the lab or the university campus.
Yeah, Bride takes us deep into this world of, well, vampires, wares, and humans. It's paranormal romance, but it's got this incredibly intricate political structure, too. It's fascinating how it's categorized, actually.
It really is. And that's our mission today, isn't it? To unpack this whole setup. We're looking at the high-stakes politics, the really rigid social structures,
Yeah.
and, of course, the exclusive relationships in this world.
Right. The central question we keep coming back to is, can this arranged marriage, this single alliance between a vampire and a were, actually survive?
Yeah.
Especially with centuries of hatred, betrayal,
Yeah.
all that baggage.
It's a massive question.
Yeah.
Because it's not just about them. The fate of the fragile peace, maybe even humanity, kind of hangs on this one. Very precarious union.
Okay, so let's start with the world itself. It's built on this really tense balance, or maybe imbalance, between three species.
Exactly. You've got the vampires, Misery species, then the wares, Lowe's species, and humans, sort of stuck in the middle.
Let's break down the vampires first. Misery's people. What defines them?
Strategy. Calculation. They're described as highly strategic, almost coldly so. Their leadership is an oligarchy, think councils, political maneuvering. Misery's father, Councilman Lark, he's a prime example.
And their biology really dictates their society, doesn't it? Like, the whole monogamy thing.
Right, they've sort of evolved past it, or maybe just dismissed it. Permanent pairing. Not really their focus. It seems almost inefficient to them.
Yeah, and Misery even compares eating actual food to, well, peeing. Something you just do occasionally, not something important, pleasurable.
Mm-hmm. Blood is their sustenance.
Yeah.
Everything else is secondary. Their whole social scene. It's less about parties and more about, well, strategizing, constant maneuvering.
And the sunlight weakness. It's not the old poof into dust myth.
No. It's called crepuscularity. Basically, unfiltered daylight makes them incredibly weak, lethargic, almost useless.
Which must have huge political implications.
Absolutely. Think about it. Half the day, one of the major powers is essentially handicapped. Every meeting, every negotiation has to work around the sun. It forces them into this nocturnal, highly planned existence. Probably why they value strategy so much they can't always rely on immediate physical action.
Okay, contrast that with the wares, Lowe's species. They seem much more primal.
Yeah, in some ways, yeah. The book links them closely to dogs, fierce loyalty, pack structures, everything.
Yeah.
Power succession is more direct, often physical challenges. It feels rawer than the Vampire Council meetings, you know?
Definitely. And their core value seems different, too.
It's the mating bond. That's the absolute center of Were society. It's not optional. It's like
Yeah.
the glue that holds the pack together. Defines everything. Loyalty, lineage, who you protect.
And they're not just brute force, either. The tech aspect surprised me.
Oh, yeah. Their packs, the Northwest and Southwest, are mentioned. They're described as having incredible digital security, firewalls, hack-proof networks. They're highly organized, just in a different way. Driven by pack instinct, but technologically savvy.
Which leaves the humans. What's their role in all this?
They're kind of caught, used as security, but apparently not very good at it, according to both vampires and wares. And then there's the other role, collateral.
The collateral system. Let's unpack that because it's central to Misery's entire existence.
It's brutal. Essentially a high-stakes, hostage exchange program to maintain the ceasefire. Misery was the 11th vampire collateral.
Sent to live with humans when she was only 8.
8 years old, and the terms were terrifyingly clear. She lived among people who hated her kind, knowing that if the truce broke, her human caregivers had explicit orders to kill her. Instantly.
Just try to imagine being a kid in that situation, learning to ride a bike, doing homework, all while knowing the people tucking you in might have to execute you tomorrow.
It's profound psychological conditioning. She's not just a hostage. She's a living symbol of the truce, and her death is the pre-approved consequence of its failure. She internalizes that threat completely.
And it doesn't get better when she goes back to the vampires, does it?
Not at all. She comes back after 10 years, and she's an outsider there, too. The other vampire kids call her a famless traitor because she lived among humans, which is forbidden for them. She's mocked, isolated.
So she literally belongs nowhere.
That's exactly how she feels. Truly belonged nowhere. That's the quote that sticks. Rejected by humans, rejected by her own kind.
And you can see how that would forge the person she becomes. Resilient, yes, but also incredibly guarded. Assertive, maybe as a defense.
Definitely. That rationalizing contempt mechanism, viewing herself as untouchable, it's how she survives emotionally. Keep everyone out, because everyone eventually abandons or betrays you anyway.
It's heartbreaking, but it also gives her this incredibly powerful personal motivation that cuts through all the politics.
Serena Paris. Her human best friend from the Collateral years. The one person who was like a sister, who offered genuine connection.
And Serena disappears.
Vanishes. And Misery becomes obsessed with finding her. She is absolutely convinced that Lowe Moreland, the new Weir Alpha, is involved somehow.
Which is the only reason she agrees to this insane arranged marriage, right?
Exactly. It's not about peace or duty for her, not really. It's an undercover operation.
Yeah.
She accepts being a political pawn because it gets her inside Lowe's territory close enough, she hopes, to find out what happened to Serena and maybe, just maybe, expose him.
Okay, so the mechanism for this fragile peace treaty is marriage, an arranged marriage.
Yeah, and it's interesting because the ceremony itself, that's noted as a human custom. But the idea of using interspecies marriage as a truce mechanism, that has history here.
Right, there were 5 previous attempts.
5 prior marriages between vampires and wares. And the key detail, during those specific periods, there were 0 border disputes. So there's a precedent. It might be symbolic, but it seems to work, at least temporarily.
Which makes this marriage incredibly high stakes politically. It's not about love, it's a transaction.
Completely. Misery is basically offered it like a job, a 1-year contract. She gets compensated, set for life, they tell her, and the terms are explicit. No expectation of a real marriage. Just play the part for a year.
And her father, Councilman Lark, his parting words are chilling.
Lowe is very dangerous. Do not cross him.
Well,
Not exactly a loving father's blessing, is it? More like a warning about a powerful adversary.
so who is this Lowe Moreland, this dangerous alpha?
Well, he's new to the alpha role, and he didn't inherit it peacefully. He challenged and defeated the previous alpha, Roscoe.
And Roscoe is described as a bloodthirsty sadist.
Exactly. So Lowe taking him down suggests, well, it suggests Lowe might be ruthless. Sure, you have to be to win a challenge like that, but maybe not cruel in the same way. Perhaps he represents a change.
And his background is completely unexpected for a were alpha.
Right. He's an architect by training. He has this deep knowledge and passion for designing and building things, beautiful structures.
How does that background play into being an alpha? Usually you think strength, dominance.
That's what makes him so interesting. An architect thinks about foundations, structure, stability, how things fit together long term. A traditional alpha might just think about immediate power, holding territory. Lowe seems to be trying to build something more lasting for his pack.
So maybe this marriage, for him, isn't just about stopping border fights, but about building a more stable future.
It seems plausible. It's a calculated risk, for sure, but maybe one aimed at long-term structural integrity for his people, rather than just temporary peace. It fits that architect mindset.
Okay, so let's go to the wedding itself, because it goes sideways almost immediately.
Oh, instantly. It's a masterclass in tension. Misery tries to bridge the gap culturally. She wears this bridal jumpsuit, trying to be modern, maybe. And she has these 5 strange markings applied.
Dark green stains on her wrists, throat, nape.
Yeah, her stylist researched war customs and came up with this. It's meant as a sign of respect, probably.
But it backfires.
Massively. As we find out later, those spots are incredibly significant for wares, related to marking and pack bonds. Her attempt to fit in immediately marks her as an outsider who got it wrong.
And Lowe's reaction when he sees her?
Not good. He looks displeased. Handsome, striking those pale green eyes, almost white, but the book says he immediately looks very, very dangerous.
The air is thick already. Then Misery tries to break the tension.
She whispers something to him, trying to be quiet, warning him about avoiding a second Astor, some kind of past political disaster, implying they need to keep things calm.
And Lowe just snaps.
Instantly, he grabs her arm hard. She stumbles. And he doesn't just steady her, he pulls her right against him, pinning her to the altar. That cage-like embrace again. And the look he gives her, like on prey.
Wow. So much for symbolic union. It goes primal, fast.
In a heartbeat, the political arrangement evaporates. It's suddenly about territory, dominance, suspicion. Claws come out, fangs are bared, guards reach for guns. The whole room just erupts. Lowe even growls at the officiant.
And it's not just the wares and vampires. The human threat is real, too.
Right then and there, an anti-vampire human waiter, sees his chance and lunges at Misery with a knife
And Lowe stops him.
by wrapping his bare hand around the blade. Just takes the hit.
Whoa.
Yeah, blood drips down his arm, green where blood. It's this incredibly visceral image. He physically protects her, bleeds for the Alliance instantly. But then, while he's literally holding the bleeding knife, bleeding for her, he leans in and whispers that final boundary. For the next year, let's make sure to stay out of each other's way. Understood?
The ultimate contradiction. Protects her life, demands total emotional distance.
Exactly. It sets the stage perfectly.
Yeah.
Danger, protection, repulsion, attraction, all tangled up from the very first moment.
So Misery moves into Lowe's territory, into his home. A beautiful place, apparently, built on a lake. But not exactly vampire-friendly.
No, the first thing she notices is the temperature is too cold for her. And all those windows, great for views, terrible for someone with crepuscularity.
Plus, their sleep schedules are totally opposite. She's up during the day when he's usually out handling pack business or sleeping.
Which initially just fuels her suspicion, right? He's rarely around when she's awake. The house feels exposed. Is he avoiding her? Hiding something? It plays right into her mission to investigate him.
And the pack members she meets aren't exactly welcoming.
Not really. Juno's defensive. Alex, the security eye, seems constantly on edge around her. Everyone's wary of the vampire bride. Except
Anna, the little girl.
Yeah, young Anna. 7 years old, but holds up 6 fingers. She seems curious about Misery, even seeks out her closet sanctuary. There's an odd connection there.
But the general hostility boils over pretty quickly.
With Max, a loyalist, someone who clearly resents the Alliance and hates vampires. He confronts Misery, throwing speciesist slurs at her murderer, you leech.
And Misery reacts how she learned to react.
Defense mechanism kicks in. She shows her fangs, tries to intimidate him, push back against the hate she's faced her whole life.
Which brings Lowe's into it. How does he handle this first major conflict?
It's really telling. He intervenes, steps between them, puts Misery in that familiar controlling embrace against the wall. Partly to contain her, partly maybe to shield her, but he doesn't punish her.
He doesn't believe Max's accusation that she tried to bite him.
No, he shuts it down with cold logic.
Right.
Points out the blood fridge is nearby. Why would she risk starting a war on day one? He applies fairness, protects her status as his bride, even though he clearly doesn't trust her personally yet. He's upholding the deal.
But Misery isn't just going to sit back and be protected. She has her own agenda, Serena.
Absolutely. She wastes no time. She tries to hack into Lowe's office computer. Remember, she'd traced him to that summit with M. Garcia before, so she thinks there are clues there.
Trying to get past those legendary war firewalls.
Yeah, not easy. And predictably, she gets caught. Alex, the security lead, finds her.
And this forces her hand, right?
It does. Cornered, she decides the only way forward is maybe a little bit of truth. She confesses why she's really there. She tells Alex, and presumably Lowe finds out, that Serena isn't just a missing person, she's her sister. Her found sister, the only family she has.
That vulnerability, does it change things?
It seems to, because Lowe responds. He reveals he knows her background, the whole story, the collateral years, the assassination attempts, her choosing to live among humans after. He knows the trauma. And maybe, just maybe, he respects the resilience it took to survive it.
And that shared understanding, or at least acknowledgement of her past, leads to his own huge confession.
The truth about Anna.
She's not just a random pack child.
No. Lowe reveals Anna is his half-sister, half-human. His mother, Maria, had a relationship with a human man, Thomas Chalakis. Anna can't shift like other wares, and her blood. It's red, human red.
Which would have been a death sentence under the old Alpha, Roscoe.
Exactly. Roscoe hated half-humans. Lowe hid Anna her entire life to protect her.
And suddenly the marriage to Misery makes terrifying sense in a whole new way.
It clicks into place. Marrying Misery, the high-value vampire collateral, wasn't just about keeping peace with the vampires. It was leverage against the humans.
How so?
If the human-war alliance somehow led to Anna being exposed, Lowe needed a way to retaliate to protect his sister. Misery is that leverage. If the humans betray the alliance or threaten Anna, Lowe can break the truce and potentially use his vampire bride as justification or a bargaining chip.
So Misery realizes she's not just collateral for her father anymore, she's collateral for Lowe, too.
Precisely. It binds them together in this incredibly dangerous secret. They are now co-conspirators in protecting Anna. It shifts everything from purely political to deeply personal.
And in that same vulnerable moment, he shares something else. His own loss.
Yeah. He tells her about his mate, his first mate who died 2 years ago.
During a conflict with humans.
And Mick, Lowe's second in command, his mentor figure, he lost his son in that same incident. It explains Mick's sadness, his distance, and it adds another layer to Lowe's motivation, the grief, the protective instinct heightened by past failure.
Wow. So they go from enemies forced together to allies sharing secrets, grief, and the protection of this child.
It's a massive turning point. The foundation shifts from pure politics to something much more complicated and, honestly, much more dangerous for both of them emotionally.
So this fragile alliance, built on secrets and shared danger, starts to morph into something else, something riskier.
Yeah, the proximity, the shared secrets, it starts to build a different kind of tension. Lowe becomes genuinely concerned for Misery's safety, especially with the Loyalist faction, led by Emery Messner, still hostile. He decides he needs to protect her more overtly within the pack structure.
Which leads to the marking.
The marking. On the surface, it's presented as a political act, a way to make Misery smell like she belongs to Lowe's pack, signaling to the Loyals that she's under his protection. Keep off.
But the way he does it.
It's incredibly intimate. He applies his scent directly to her pulse points, her throat, the nape of her neck, her wrists.
Hey, those are the exact same spots her stylist put those green marks on for the wedding.
Exactly. The irony is thick. Her failed attempt at fitting in through a misunderstood custom is now being overwritten by this incredibly potent, personal act of possession by the Alpha himself.
And Misery feels it. It's not just political for her.
Not at all. She's shocked. The description is something sexual. It's charged, intense. Lowe seems overwhelmed too. He pulls back abruptly, muttering, "I'm done. It's done," like he's appalled at his own lack of control.
But then there's that moment. She tastes his blood.
Yeah, seemingly from the tiny cut he got at the wedding, still on his hand maybe. It's involuntary, but it happens.
Yeah.
And his reaction to that taste, that connection, he whispers, "You smell like your mind, Misery."
Chills. That's pure possession. Primal.
It completely obliterates the line between political strategy and something much deeper, much more instinctual.
And this connection keeps growing, even against the backdrop of their fundamental differences, like the sleeping arrangements.
Right. Lowe starts insisting on sleeping in her room. He takes the bed, she takes the closet, which she actually finds comforting, dark, and safe, like her old vampire spaces. He claims it's purely for her safety, because he has insomnia anyway.
But it's intense forced proximity, hours spent in the same small space, aware of each other, even if they're not interacting.
It breeds intimacy, whether they intend it or not. And we see these little moments where they bridge the species gap in unexpected ways.
Like the peanut butter.
The peanut butter. Misery confesses this secret shame she's addicted to it, a habit from her human friend Serena. For vampires, eating like that is seen as unnecessary, almost pathetic.
But Lowe doesn't judge her.
No. He just gently pushes the jar towards her, tells her to eat it for pleasure, just pretend it's blood. It's this quiet act of acceptance of her human influence side, her vulnerability. It's incredibly kind.
And then the scratching. That was...
Wow, that was huge. Misery almost unconsciously starts scratching Lowe's head, the way Serena used to calm her down during panic attacks.
And Lowe's reaction is instantaneous.
He physically grabs her wrist and pulls her hand back to his scalp. He doesn't just allow it, he needs it. It shows this deep, almost vulnerable level of trust and physical need that completely bypasses species lines. He's letting her soothe him, the Alpha letting the vampire bride soothe him.
Which brings them crashing into the biggest incompatibility of all, the mate bond.
Ah, the mate bond.
Yeah.
Misery. Ever the analyst tries to understand it logically. She figures it must be some kind of permanent biological imperative for wares, much stronger than human marriage.
But Lowe can barely explain it to her.
How can he? He literally says she lacks the hardware to comprehend it. It's this fundamental, instinctual, all-consuming reality for wares, and the person he's inexplicably drawn to. She can only approach it intellectually. It highlights the chasm between them.
And then come the two moments that just shatter everything. First, the bite.
The force feeding, the raiding Emery's office, a need-to-cover story fast, the only believable one. The vampire bride lost control and fed from her alpha husband, so she has to bite him on the neck.
And for vampires, feeding isn't usually pleasurable.
No, it's described as a cold necessity, biological function. But feeding from Lowe's, it's completely different from Misery. It's intensely erotic, overwhelming. She experiences pleasure she didn't know existed.
And Lowe's reaction?
He's described as raptorial. His control is gone, pupils dilated. It's not just sustenance for her. It's this incredibly potent, intimate exchange that affects him just as deeply. It rewrites their biological scripts. Owen later confirms how taboo this is for vampires. Being fed on is seen as utter defilement.
Okay, so that happens. Then comes the conversation about, well, sex and nodding.
Right. After they have a physical encounter that is clearly intense for both of them, Misery asks about nodding that specific biological aspect of war climax. She assumes it only happens with a mate.
Trying to rationalize the intensity between them.
Exactly, but Lowe corrects her. Wearers don't always nod. His extreme physical response to her wasn't just biology. It wasn't because she was a vampire. It was because she was her.
That must hit him hard, realizing the depth of it.
It's devastating for him. He admits he's been attracted since he saw her wedding photo, but tells her, flat out, he can't have sex with her like that. Not because he doesn't want to, but because she affects him too profoundly, too uncontrollably.
He mentions the mate thing.
Yes. He refuses contraceptives, acknowledging the huge implications if their connection is that deep. And then he says they have to separate. For her freedom.
He's trying to protect her from the very bond he's realizing might exist between them.
It seems so. He's terrified of repeating the past, of her suffering the fate of his first mate, of trapping her in this all-consuming ground she can't fully understand or participate in, so he tries to push her away, choosing her autonomy over his own overwhelming desire and connection. It's heartbreaking.
Just when things seem impossibly complicated emotionally, the external plot kicks back in hard. Anna gets sick.
Really sick. And it's not a virus. It quickly becomes clear she's been poisoned by the peanut butter.
Misery's peanut butter, the thing Lowe accepted, the thing Anna sometimes shared.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That small act of connection becomes a weapon. Suddenly, the romantic angst is sidelined by sheer survival. They have to figure out who did this and why.
And Alex, the security guy, finally gets a breakthrough on Misery's original investigation.
Following her hunch about Thomas Jolakis and his human father, Alex digs deeper and finds out Jolakis was controller of public accounts, worked for the Human Were Bureau, and his records were scrubbed clean.
And the timing.
2 weeks after Serena disappeared, Jolakis died in a convenient car accident. It's too coincidental. Serena must have found something out about Jolakis, something dangerous.
So Lowe takes this information. Where?
Straight to the top. He confronts Governor Davenport, the human leader. Davenport tries to stonewall, but Lowe is pure alpha, protecting his pack now.
He gets physical.
Slams him against the wall, apparently. Tells me stinks like you're made of lies. Davenport breaks.
And confesses.
Confesses he had Jolakis killed. Why? Embezzlement? Sure. But the real reason was Jolakis trying to silence the truth about Anna. Davenport knew exposing a we're-human hybrid child would shatter the treaty, destabilize everything. He acted to maintain political control.
So the human leadership is corrupt. But the conspiracy goes deeper, doesn't it? Back to the vampires.
Oh, much deeper. Lowe is then seemingly captured by Owen, Misery's own brother, and taken to the Nest, the vampire headquarters.
And Misery witnesses the real betrayal there.
She sees her father, Councilman Lark, talking with Mick, Lowe's second-in-command, his mentor. They were working together.
Mick. Why would Mick betray Lowe?
It's horrific. Mick admits he poisoned the peanut butter. He knew Misery ate it, knew Anna might share it. His goal. To make Lowe suffer the pain of losing a mate or someone he was clearly bonding with. To distract him, destabilize him.
All to help Misery's father.
Yes. Mick was working for Father Lark. The plan was to eliminate Misery, making it look like humans did it maybe, weaken Lowe's emotionally, and create chaos that Father could exploit, to seize more power and crush the alliance he never wanted.
Father Lark's motives. Just pure power.
Seems like it. Old guard vampire politics. He hated the collateral system, saw the alliance's weakness. He claims it was all for the good of the vampires, but really it was about consolidating his own control.
And he twists the knife for Misery personally.
Oh, brutally. Tells her she's a never-ending source of disappointment, plays right into her deepest fears of being unwanted, useless. He even reveals he tried to use his vampire mind control thralling on Lowe, but failed. Which is why he needed Mick's inside help.
Just when Misery feels completely broken, abandoned by everyone, there's another twist.
The biggest one yet. She finds Serena, alive, held captive right there in the nest.
Serena's alive, but different.
Misery notices were traits in her, and Serena confirms that she's not fully human. She's a hybrid, like Anna, but one who can shift. She's been secretly researching her own nature, practicing shifting while imprisoned.
So Serena wasn't just a victim waiting to be rescued.
Not at all. She's been playing her own game this whole time.
Okay, the climax. Father Lark has Misery, knife to her throat. It looks like the end.
But it's all part of a plan Misery didn't know about. Serena says something, a specific word, sounds garbled. Maybe it's a signal. She and Lowe make eye contact, silent nod.
And Owen, Misery's brother who captured Lowe.
He was in on it. He steps forward and releases Lowe's restraints.
And then
All hell breaks loose. Lowe starts shifting, transforming into this huge, powerful white wolf. And right beside him, Serena does the same thing. Another massive, majestic white wolf.
two shifters appear out of nowhere. Father's plan just implodes.
Completely. The guards are stunned. The two wolves just unleash chaos. Pure, primal power holding absolutely nothing back. Owen fights too, taking on Vanya. It's swift, brutal. Father is captured, cuffed, blindfolded.
And Misery's reaction in the middle of all this carnage.
It's classic Misery. Her immediate thought, amidst the shifting and the fighting, is reportedly wondering where their clothes go when they shift.
Even facing death, her analytical brain is still working.
It's perfect. That little touch of detached curiosity grounds her character, even in the most extreme moment. It's who she is.
Okay, deep breaths. The fighting's over. Father Lark is captured. What happens now? The power dynamic has completely shifted.
Instantly. And significantly, Misery and Owen defer Father's fate entirely to Lowe. They trust him to decide what justice looks like. That's huge.
And Owen steps up.
Yeah, Owen, having proved his loyalty wasn't to Father but to doing the right thing, plans to take his father's seat on the council, and his first vow, and the collateral system, and the artificial borders. He wants real change. Lowe clearly respects his courage now.
What about Anna? Was she safe during all this?
Yes, thankfully. Lowe had hidden her away securely before everything went down at the nest. She's safe.
And Serena?
Serena's alive, free, and starting to process her new reality as a shifting war. She and Misery reunite. And this is a key moment for Misery's character arc.
How so?
She realizes, maybe for the first time, that she truly cares about someone else's well-being more than her own survival. That feeling of loyalty, of found family with Serena, maybe even with Owen now. It cracks open that untouchable shell she built. She can belong somewhere.
So politically, things are resetting. Personally, Misery's found her connection to Serena again. But what about Lowe's? The mate thing is still hanging over them.
Right. The immediate crisis is over, but their personal crisis isn't. Misery goes back to Lowe's house, probably hoping for something. Reconciliation. Clarity.
And she finds boxes, her stuff packed up.
Her absolute worst fear confirmed, right? All her trauma rushes back. The collateral abandonment, Lowe's earlier words about needing to be apart. She assumes he's kicking her out now that the danger's passed.
She must be furious.
Enraged. She confronts him, accusing him of using her past against her, of pushing her away, just when she started to maybe, possibly trust him.
But that's not what's happening.
Not at all. This is Lowe, the architect, showing his true intentions. He wasn't packing her stuff to send her away. He was changing the windows.
Changing the windows.
To the dark, vampire-style glass, like her old room at the nest, the place she found comfort. He noticed she felt safer in the dark, saw her belongings might get damaged by sunlight in his bright house. So he was making it permanent. For her. Adapting his space, his life, to fit her needs.
Oh, wow. That's commitment expressed through construction.
Exactly. It's the ultimate Lowe Moreland gesture. Practical, protective, silent service. And it breaks down that final wall.
He finally admits it then, the M word.
He does. He confesses the fear behind his earlier pushback.
I'm afraid, Misery. I'm terrified. Terrified that there's no way he can just let her go, that there is no world in which I'll gracefully walk away.
He admits she's his mate, confirms what her intuition, their bodies, everything was telling them. He says flat out, any idea of doing any of this within a Kennedy were died the night I met you. His connection to her completely overrode any previous bond or biological expectation.
Even knowing all the incompatibilities, the shifting, the sleep, the food.
He knows it won't be easy. He voices those concerns. How will they build a life when they're so fundamentally different? Yeah. But he's not running anymore. He's committed.
And Misery. How does she take this confirmation of this huge, scary biological bond?
She embraces it. The pragmatic vampire accepts the terrifying reality. They decide to share his room, no more closet. And they make a plan.
A schedule.
A schedule.
For mating.
For their life together. Yeah. Recognizing their different needs, they agree to carve out dedicated time. Save 2 hours every day. It's so practical, so them. It's how they'll make their unique, species-defying bond work.
So the collateral, the pawn, the outsider, she finds her place. As the alpha's mate, his queen.
It's an incredible journey. From being literally bred and raised as a political tool, defined by rejection, to finding genuine belonging, safety, and love with the very species she was supposed to hate, led by the man she was forced to marry under false pretenses. Her trauma didn't break her. It forged the strength she needed to claim this unexpected future.
And I think that's the core takeaway here, isn't it? That idea may be common in Hazelwood's work, but so potent here, that real safety isn't about avoiding threats. It's about finding the right people to face those threats with. Misery found her person, her pack, in the most unlikely, dangerous place.
Absolutely. She found her mate across species lines, her family, and someone she thought was lost forever, and maybe even a brother she never expected to trust. Belonging wasn't given. She fought for it and built it.
Which leaves us with a pretty huge question for the future of this world, doesn't it? Lowe was initially terrified of what this bond meant, how incompatible they were, how it might destabilize his pack.
Right. So now that it's confirmed, now that the vampire collateral is undeniably the alpha's mate, what does it signify? How does this unprecedented, powerful cross-species bond reshape vampire politics, especially with Owen aiming to tear down the old systems? It's a whole new era dawning.
In the end, Bride reminds us that love can bloom even in the darkest bloodlines, fierce, forbidden, and unforgettable. If this tale left your heart racing, share it with another dreamer and subscribe to Stories Aloud, where every love story has its bite. Until next time, keep listening.